Last month, about 300 newspapers across the country pushed back on President Donald Trump's assertions, printing editorials that defended the Fourth Estate. Among those papers was the Berkshire Eagle. Lowe is the paper's deputy editorial page editor. I asked him why the paper wanted to participate.
Well, we are a newspaper where we feel we're an important bedrock community institution, and our feeling was that the free press, not just the big papers like the New York Times and the Washington Post, but that smaller community newspapers, regional papers, they're the true impartial information provider, without whom I think the people would be less informed. And no offense, but it's very clear that broadcast TV without print journalism probably wouldn't know what to report on.
We are very dependent.
So
there's definitely a symbiotic relationship there. So I know that Bill Everhart is editorial page editor, but you actually penned this editorial.
Bert turned to me and said, "How would you like to take this?" I said, "Sure, I'll do that." I've been a journalist for over 40 years, and I think I can speak from authority about how I feel that print journalism affects its community, and I've been doing work for a long time that I feel has made a difference. I think we all make a difference at the Eagle, the people who read it, and fortunately that group is growing, slowly but growing.
The newspaper group.
Right.
Yeah.
The people who read the paper, our readership, our community, are beginning to understand. I hear it all over the place. They say, "You are the glue that holds this community together," which is the point.
I want to read a little bit of what you wrote. You said, quote, "Mr. Trump, through his ceaseless vilification of the established media, is mounting a direct assault not just on the news industry, but on the entire nation. His attitude, sadly and frighteningly, is not that of an American patriot." Why did you use that particular turn of phrase?
Well, at the risk of repeating what some may know, the founding fathers understood journalism to be the Fourth Estate, to be the absolutely critical component of a healthy democracy, because you need to have an informed electorate to make the right choices on how it wants itself governed. And newspapers, in the 18th century, newspapers were it. Now we have many other ways, but under the broad umbrella of the media, we need to educate people about issues that matter to them. And it is our duty as journalists to do so in the most impartial way possible, regardless of what our detractors might say, which is where the editorial came in.
And you even went on to quote Justice Hugo Black, who said, "The press was to serve the governed, not the governors. The government's power to censor the press was abolished so that the press would remain forever free to censure the government."
Exactly, censure the government, right. And this is what makes our current president's attacks on the media so egregious, because by undermining our credibility, he's actually undermining one of the basic institutions of our government. And I truly feel that we are. I think without us, democracy simply can't flourish.
And this wasn't the first editorial that the Eagle penned defending this concept, the fake news media, that President Trump has tweeted about and talked about at rallies, et cetera, et cetera. But in your opinion, how was this situation different? Was it the fact that so many papers across the country were involved, or how was it different?
Well, I think if I can answer for the Boston Globe's initiative, I would say that it's a difference of degree in that the attacks have grown, and I have never before seen journalists being vilified and attacked by crowds for doing their jobs.
Physically attacked, too. I mean, I had a friend who was covering a Trump rally, and she has videotape of Trump supporters, yelling at her. But then we saw the Boston Globe was literally threatened.
True, and broadcast journalists at Trump rallies now have bodyguards. Yeah. Now, to me, this is, and as I say, I've been 4 decades in this business. We have always been under attack from conservatives saying, "Oh, you have a liberal bias." But in the past, we were always able to agree on the facts, even if the interpretation differed. And there was always a certain tacit understanding that, to quote John, or to paraphrase John McCain, who was so eloquent about this, we're all Americans, we just differ as to the best way to achieve that perfect union that we're always striving for. But now, in today's times, it's actually us versus them, and people feel that they have a corner on the market of patriotism and that everybody else who's outside that does not. And there are actually people who believe that the press exists to tear down the government, which is absolutely not the case. But our president, this is the first president we've ever had, who, besides always having an adversarial relationship with the press, which they all have, that's understood to be the job.
Nixon, Bill Clinton, it's both sides, both party lines.
Right.
Through the years, the way that the press has called out inactions that were incorrect, were illegal. To you, does this feel different than that, or have we sort of as a country forgotten the stress and the tension that took place during Nixon, Clinton? I just keep pointing to them, but there were others as well.
No, I think this is far worse.
How so?
Because Nixon never, he would say, that he castigated the press for attacking him, but he never actually said that whenever they said something negative, it was fake news. He ultimately had to acknowledge it. He had to resign. Today, there is an entire cohort of Americans who have been conditioned to believe that something they don't want to hear must be untrue. And this is a serious problem, and it's going to take years for us to recondition people to the idea that bad news is just as valuable to them as good news when it comes to being a good citizen.
There was actually a letter to the editor. I think it was published in one of the Vermont papers in the Berkshire Eagle news group, but they took fault with the editorial, said they were going to cancel their subscription, and they said that, that the media is the enemy of the people, as Donald Trump has said. And this person in particular questioned, how can there be so many negative news articles when the stock market's up, unemployment is low? What would you say to maybe not that person in particular, but to someone who holds that perspective?
I would say look beyond the indicators that your own news providers are giving you to underscore their assessment that the president's doing a great job. The stock market isn't everything. The economy isn't everything because, it's the old Roman theory, bread and circuses. Keep them happy and they won't realize you're picking their pockets or whatever it might be. But I think that if they really drilled down and saw what the president has been doing systematically to the democratic institutions of this country, they might have a different opinion. Of course, they'd have to believe what they heard, which they've been conditioned not to. Again, this problem is much deeper than we can imagine, and it amazes me that it only took about 2 years for the country to completely lose faith, not the country, but certain groups to become actually anti-American in so many ways. They have lost respect for our institutions, all because they follow this personality cult figure. Perhaps I'm releasing my personal biases here.
But that's what the editorial page is for.
Exactly. As I always tell people who say, I'm canceling my subscription, I don't like what you said, I go, what's that big word at the top of the page? Opinion. Oh, yeah.
Well, if people want to read the full editorial, it was published in the Berkshire Eagle print edition, and you can certainly get it online on August 16th. Chan Lowe, thanks for coming in.